What is up, Vikings? Bearer of curses here. Today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite games of all time, and that would happen to be Valheim. I would like to tell you 5 reasons why you should play Valheim. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because Valheim is coming out on Xbox here pretty soon. I think it comes out in March. And I personally am a PC player, but I really am excited for Valheim to drop on console. I hope it drops on PlayStation at some point because I personally believe that Valheim is one of the best survival craft games that is out there. That being said, I have been playing survival games since 2018, and I first built my PC in 2018, and building a PC has opened up a whole new level of gaming for me. So when I first built my PC, I started playing a game called Starbound, which was kind of an introduction to PC exclusive games for me, and I really did enjoy that game. I put quite a few hours into it, but not as much as I would soon put into Valheim. I am currently sitting at a whopping 500 hours into my Valheim career, and a lot of you might have a lot more than me, a lot of you might have a lot less, but I am here to tell you why I have 500 hours into this amazing game. Now, the first thing that caught me and hooked me and sinkered me into playing Valheim was the building. The building is something that I cannot put down. I will tell you, out of the 500 hours in this game, I have not even reached the Mistlands yet. And that is not because I can't, that is because I have literally just been hooked on the building nonstop. Every time I get to a new biome, I just start building. And there's kind of a fancy building system in this game. It's actually pretty simple. It just snaps together, pieces kind of snap together and goes together pretty good. And you flatten the ground to build on level ground. And you can do all sorts of stuff with these pieces, but just because it's simple doesn't mean that it is easy or not complex, because the building systems in this game are very complex. You can make anything you want to in this game. I mean, I built a piece from Skyrim. I built a Colosseum. I have built so many things in this game, and that being built in creative or even survival. And so actually one of the best ways, in my opinion, to get better at building in Valheim is using creative mode. So turning on dev commands and just kind of seeing what you can do with the building. So that is basically the first thing that caught my attention in Valheim, was the building system. I've played a lot of survival craft games that the building just did not really catch my attention. Now, I've played games like The Forest, I've played Minecraft, I've played like Terraria, I've played a lot of those kind of games, and I guess a game that I would think would be kind of similar to Valheim, another game that I absolutely adore, would be The Forest. The Forest also has some pretty good building, but not as good as Valheim in my opinion. If you disagree with that, let me know in the comments, but I think that Valheim has some really good building mechanics. The second reason I want to tell you guys about that caught my eye in Valheim was the exploration. Now, the exploration is something that I just absolutely get lost in, okay? I grew up playing one of my very first video games ever on the Nintendo 64 was Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time fans out there, hit the like button, let me know if that was also your first game. Ocarina of Time was my first kind of open world, even if it was a little more linear, but it was open world RPG kind of elements, and I graduated from OOT to playing Majora's Mask, which my kid mind just found that game absolutely dark and amazing. I loved Majora's Mask even more, and that kind of opened my eyes to games where exploration was kind of a bigger key point in the game. Now, Valheim kind of instantly brought me back to my childhood in that way. I would load into the game and I would be exploring and, going to different biomes, seeing, the mountains, sailing on the ocean, going through the meadows and seeing the beautiful trees, going through the Black Forest and seeing trolls, the plains, the mosquitoes. Every biome has something to offer, which is just crazy to me. There's caves, there's all sorts of stuff to explore in this game. Now, if you're a person that is absolutely in love with exploration like I am, Valheim is definitely the game for you. That being said, moving on to the next reason that I love Valheim so much, it would be the crafting progression in this game. Now, I don't think any other game does crafting progression better than Valheim does. You literally start off with just a basic hammer. You're able to make a workbench, and with that workbench you can make basic tools, and from there you can graduate to making some upgrades for your workbench. And making the upgrades for your workbench actually allows you to build more things on that workbench, more tools, more armors. You can upgrade your tools, you can upgrade your armors, and when you beat the boss of that biome, you unlock something to get you into the next biome, and when you get to the next biome, you unlock more crafting recipes and a new workbench to play with. And there's just crazy armor and weapons that you can do. You start off with basic tools like a caveman, and you end the game. You can end the game in Mistlands with magic, and you can literally float down with a feather cape. You can literally jump from the highest cliff and just glide your way down while you're shooting magic at trolls or whatever it is that you're fighting. And I just find that amazing. The crafting progression is something that I absolutely adore. Moving on to the next reason, bosses. The bosses in Valheim are kick ass. The very first boss that caught my attention in Valheim was Eikthyr. And that is the very first boss in the game, which I find just amazing how the first boss in the game was able to catch me so quick. The boss fight music is insane. The boss in general just looks insane. It's this big deer with huge antlers, and you're going around with a bow or whatever you have to be able to fight him at that time. And it is just an intense fight, and the music just really lures you in. And the bosses in this game have really cool boss arenas usually, and you usually have to do something to be able to summon the boss. Just the whole system of how these bosses work is really cool. And if you like games with big bosses, you're definitely going to enjoy Valheim. So it's worth looking at just for the bosses, in my opinion. Moving on to the last reason I have written down right now on my notepad is the gameplay loop in this game is insane. Now, I just love that you can kind of play however you want to in this game. I mean, you are limited to difficulty in a way. If you try to go to a biome that you are not prepared for, you are absolutely going to die. But that being said, you do have a ton of freedom of how you play this game. Do you want to choose light armor for that biome? Do you want to go heavy armor? Do you want to use magic? Do you want to use, heavier weapons? Or how do you want to play the game? And once you decide that, you kind of get into this loop of like, okay, so I'm going to start off in the meadows, and I'm gonna farm this, and I'm gonna build a base, and I'm gonna start a farm, and then I'm gonna go get these materials to craft this, and then you just basically progress through that biome and move on to the next and kind of get into a gameplay loop. And it's just one that I absolutely adore and can come back to 100 times over, and that's how I find myself really addicted to this game. Now, like I said, I think there is 5 biomes in this game so far. There might be more, I'm not sure. I do know that the last update was the Mistlands, and I'm still working on getting there, believe it or not. It is mostly just because the hours I put into this game are purely just like building. And I have made it as far as where you fight Motor, I think is the boss name, in the mountains. And I made it to the plains and stuff like that. And I think the plains is actually the farthest that I've gotten. There, I'm not saying that I got bored. I'm just saying I got kind of reminiscent on the beginning of the game. I just love the meadows start of the game. You can just spawn in, and you kind of are just building your base up, and you kind of just, it's real simple, and I love that. I love the simplicity of when you first start off in the meadows, and things do get really complex, but if you really like games that have good gameplay loops, Valheim is definitely for you. So in this video, I explained to you 5 reasons why you definitely should play Valheim. Now, there is a lot more reasons why you should play Valheim. There is a lot of complex stuff in this game. You can tame wolves, you can tame boar, you can tame chickens, you can farm, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can play with friends even. You can have PvP fights. You can do all sorts of stuff. But if I explained reasons to you why you would want to play Valheim, please like my video. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate making these videos for you guys. I love playing video games. I love Valheim a lot. And I really want to keep putting these videos out for you guys. So anyway, that is 5 reasons why you should play Valheim. Go ahead and give it a try. It is coming out on Xbox. And I'll see you guys later.